What's up everyone and welcome back to the MMA Zone. Today, let's get started with Volkanovski predicts Islam Makhachev versus Charles Oliveira. At UFC 294, Charles Oliveira will look to recapture the lightweight title after returning to the win column with a sensational finish against Beneil Dariush earlier this year. Despite seemingly making strides in his game, Oliveira still finds himself sitting as an underdog heading into the contest. The way featherweight kingpin Alexander Volkanovski sees things, Makhachev is simply the better grappler, and because of that, he believes Oliveira will be in for a rough night at the office. He spoke in a video for his YouTube channel this week.
When it comes to actual grappling and control and dictating where it all goes, I got Islam all day. So that's why I think it's going to be a hard fight for Charles. I think Charles needs to do a better job of getting back to his feet, pouring the pressure on that way, which could lead to openings like submissions while he's building himself back up. As Islam's trying to catch him again, maybe leaving his neck vulnerable, then getting him sort of out of position there.
On the flip side, Sugar Sean O'Malley wants Oliveira to avenge the UFC 280 loss and reclaim UFC gold. During a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, O'Malley spoke about the rematch.
But I would love to see Charles win. That would make for a huge trilogy.
It would be.
Maybe call Khabib out.
With the fight right around the corner, it'll be interesting to see how things play out. Shout out to our first comments on yesterday's video. Thanks for the support. Next, let's take a look at Kamaru Usman backup for Khamzat versus Paulo Costa. When the UFC books a title fight for a pay-per-view main event, they traditionally reach an agreement with a fighter to weigh in as the backup, in case either of the two competitors were to pull out. Heading into UFC 294, there have been no indications that the UFC will book a backup for the clash between Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa. However, according to Chael Sonnen, the right man for the job is Kamaru Usman. The former welterweight champ had previously been linked to a bout with Chimaev. However, he allegedly wasn't interested in competing at middleweight. According to Sonnen, the reason is because he didn't want to create a scenario where he and Israel Adesanya were matched up with one another. Now, with Sean Strickland sitting atop the division, Sonnen believes that Usman, who used to compete at 184 pounds as a wrestler, should be on hand as the backup fighter in case either Chimaev or Costa pull out of the fight. He spoke in a video for his YouTube channel to discuss the situation.
The right guy is out there. The right guy has a name. The right guy's already asked for the fight. The right guy's in shape and he's ready because he's always in shape and ready. And the right guy that needs to position himself today, because this is less than a month away, right guy to fill in for Paulo Costa or Chimaev, whichever one of them blinks first, and they're both blinking right now. Little inside news for you. Right guy is Kamaru Usman.
Of course, there's growing speculation that the UFC could be working to book a scrap between Kamaru Usman and Belal Muhammad. However, so far, nothing has been finalized. In the meantime, whether or not the UFC decides to book a backup fighter for the Chimaev-Costa fight, only time will tell. Now, let's shift gears and take a look at UFC updates and rumors. This week, 3 fights were added to the upcoming UFC Vegas 82 card on November 18th. The event, which will be headlined by a middleweight clash between Brendan Allen and Paul Craig, will take place at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. With the card rapidly approaching, a bout between Jonathan Pierce and Joe Anderson Brito has reportedly been finalized. The bout will see Pierce look to build on an impressive win streak, while on the flip side, Brito will be looking to extend a 3-fight win streak of his own that saw him finish Weston Wilson in the first round this summer. The card will also feature a bout between Charles Johnson and Rafael Estevam, which will see Johnson look to stamp a 2-fight skid that has seen him go 1-2 this year. Meanwhile, Estevam will be looking to keep his unblemished record intact as he makes his debut on the big stage following an impressive finish on Dana White's Contender Series last year. Last but certainly not least, a fight between Chad Anheliger and Jose Johnson has also been added to the card. The bout will see Anheliger look to bounce back from a UFC 279 loss last summer, while on the flip side, Johnson will be looking to bounce back from a twister loss to Damon Blackshear in his UFC debut after Dana White's Contender Series win last year. A rumor has also begun circulating that the UFC is no longer considering Minneapolis as a location for its December 2nd event, which already has a number of announced bouts, most notably a clash between Jared Cannonier and Roman Dolidze, and a welterweight showdown between Kelvin Gastelum and Sean Brady. According to the report from Nolan King, the UFC now allegedly has Austin, Texas atop its list of targeted locations for the card. Stay tuned for updates as they become available. Next, let's take a look at Aljamain Sterling fires more shots at Sean O'Malley. Aljamain Sterling has continued to pour the pressure on Sugar Sean O'Malley after being finished at UFC 292. While there seems to be a logjam of contenders at 135 pounds, Sterling believes that there are only two options for the bantamweight champ: run things back in an immediate rematch or defend the title against Merab Dvalishvili. Following his Polaris grappling win over Mike Grundy this weekend, Sterling called out the bantamweight champ.
I got a message for Mr. Sugar, because he's still that to me. Hey, give me my rematch or fight Merab. It's that simple. Stop ducking the top contenders and be a man and be a real champ and fight the best of the best. That's what I did. Now you need to turn around and do the same exact. Let's go.
With Sterling eager to run things back with O'Malley next year, the UFC will have to decide whether they'll honor his wish for an immediate rematch or whether they will keep things moving and give the title shot to Dvalishvili. Of course, at the same time, O'Malley has been open about his desire to defend the title against Marlon Chito Vera as well, creating quite an interesting dilemma for the UFC. Next, let's take a look at UFC fighter calls out LeBron James. Heading into Bobby King Green's upcoming clash with King Grant Dawson, Green has made it clear that there can only be one king, and he intends on proving that is him when the two men step inside the octagon next weekend. While speaking in a recent interview with TMZ Sports, Green vowed to cement his place as the one true king, which prompted a question regarding what Green would hypothetically say to LeBron James challenging him for the nickname given the four-time NBA champ's longtime King James moniker. According to the UFC vet, he wouldn't even have to think about accepting the fight.
If LeBron wanted to fight with me, it wouldn't be close.
How would something like that look? He's a big boy. We know he's athletic and he's
but he ain't got the skills. He ain't got the skills. I'm sorry. Skills pay the bills, sir. In a drop of a dime. In a heartbeat. Without even thinking about it. Hell yeah.
Despite the size difference, it seems as though many members of the MMA community are counting LeBron James out of the hypothetical fight given his inexperience. Let's take a look at Tate brothers send warning to Sean Strickland. UFC middleweight champion Sean Strickland has found himself on the radar of controversial online personalities Andrew and Tristan Tate. The latest shots came after Strickland took aim at the two brothers, riling up their fans. Tristan Tate recently stuck up for his brother while issuing Strickland a warning against calling him a scammer during a recent video for his platform.
You're a fucking hypocrite. To sit there and say that I should have some remorse for the addict or some control over what the addict does is embarrassing because he is yet to turn the mirror on himself. He is providing entertainment for these millions of people around the world watching him. You think people don't bet? The fact that there's so much gambling involved is why you get paid in the first place. You want to be a critic of my brother? Okay, then you say, I will fight for money at a much reduced fee as long as nobody in the world can gamble on my fights. That way I've protected everybody. Every time you fight, somebody has lost everything he had. Don't, when you're in the entertainment business, that bankrupts families because of their lack of self-discipline, lecture me, little man.
Whether or not the UFC middleweight champ decides to fire back, only time will tell. With that in mind, if there's one thing fans know about Strickland, it's that he's ready to fight anyone, anytime, anywhere. Khamzat shows off shredded physique before UFC 294. With UFC 294 rapidly approaching, Khamzat Chimaev's return to the octagon has continued to be one of the biggest talking points in the lead up to the event. After previously being considered as a welterweight title contender, the expectation is that with the big win over Costa, Chimaev will punch his ticket to a middleweight title shot. Heading into the bout, an image shared on Instagram by the Mac Life showed Boers looking absolutely shredded. As some fans were quick to point out, however, Chimaev is looking lean for 185 pounds, meaning he's likely on target heading into the final portion of his weight cut. On the flip side, although Paulo Costa made weight for his UFC 278 clash with Luke Rockhold, there's been quite a bit of concern that he could miss weight after his infamous 2021 fight week weigh-in debacle, heading into his clash with Marvin Vettori. With the fight right around the corner, only time will tell how things play out. Despite looking shredded and ready to fight, the MMA community roasted Khamzat's body transformation. Here's what they had to say. Finally ready for 170 pounds when he's fighting 185 pounds. Well, at least we only have to worry about Costa's weight now. He barely could beat lightweight Gilbert Burns. Not even close to Costa's physique. Darren Till revealed on a podcast that he got sued for his Raw Dog beer. Here's what he had to say about the situation.
I got sued for $1.4 million.
What?
Yeah,
What?
Raw Dog got sued. Did you not know?
No, who sued you and why? So it was going well, and I was actually saying to the guys, we need to give Adesanya some percent Perry. And then there's a brand in England called G-Star Raw, and it's trademarked, and they own the rights to the name Raw, so they sued us, and we couldn't trade anymore. They sent us a cease and desist letter, and that was the end of Raw Dog.
But you sold it for a little bit, you didn't have to pay.
Well, we got like 2 months worth. Yeah, like a minute.
Top comments. I wish everyone would stop making excuses for why Adesanya lost to Strickland. He wasn't just feeling flat. Noodle arms? What? It wasn't an off day. Adesanya looked the same as always. It's just that Strickland's style shut down Adesanya's style. Styles make matchups. Everyone eventually gets figured out. Strickland did what he had to do. Stop making excuses for Izzy. Someone responded with, that's too much truth for mainstream. Sean is the style breaker. The reason Izzy lost, because he got his kicked. It's that simple. It's fighting. Enough of the frickin' excuses for Adesanya. Why can it be a win and be just that? No one has ever questioned the win as much as this. Crazy. Make sure to leave a comment and you might get featured in our next video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications to never miss any MMA news. Check out our video from yesterday if you missed it. See you tomorrow.